Not of the plane. They have tons of pictures of his crew, and a great percentage of the pictures were taken by Belgian people in Belgium during the war in 1944. Unbelievable pictures that were provided to me were provided to my dad from some of his helpers, or other local Belgian historians that have given me a lot of pictures, which are really interesting. But my dad, don't have any pictures of his plane. He had a new plane when he got to England, and they took it away from him. And then he was flying these beat up B-17s, and he didn't think anyone was worthy of being painted, after his little baby girl. And he got a brand new B-17 that he was going to paint, but they were shot down before he had time to paint it.
Oh, wow. Well, Steve,
yeah, unfortunately,
I want to thank you for coming on Night Dreams Talk Radio. You can go out and find his book called Shot Down through Amazon. Again, why don't you give you your website address out here?
Yeah, it's Steve, the Shot Down, the true story of pilot Howard Snyder and the crew of the B-17 Susan Ruth. And as I mentioned, it's just not about my dad, but it's about each member of the crew, because something different happened to each guy, and it's also about all those Belgian people that risked their lives to help him. And I'm on Facebook. I have an author page, Steve Snyder author, Shot Down. And my website is stevesnyderauthor.com.
Well, Steve, I want you to have a great week is coming up. And again, I want to thank you for coming on my show. You know, I can say that your father, really, was brave. He did what he thought he had to do. But again, that is one occupation. I know my father told me every time he had to get into the plane on a mission, his stomach would turn the night before. I mean, he said it was so traumatizing that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like my dad's crew, 5 of them came back, but 5 of them did not.
Well, like I told you before we went on the show, my dad in Africa was on, I think they were flying B-25s, if I remember right. And he actually got sick the night before a mission. So his best friend, substituted for him. And the plane never made it back. And years later, they found it perfectly intact in the desert. And, they found, like where, they dropped, their things as they walked away trying to, get rescued, which none of them did. But the Twilight Zone, I believe, made, and I can't remember the name of the episode, but they made an episode because they found that plane in the 50s. And it was so...
Yeah, I saw a documentary about that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, when... My dad, we were in the front room, and he knew about that episode coming out somehow on the Twilight Zone. I think he was even interviewed, while they, were researching, for the show. I tell you, I've never seen my dad ever cry except that one time.
Oh, I can imagine. I had to be very emotional for him.
Yeah, and he had a guilt trip on that, and he felt he should have been on that plane, and it should have been him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't, because I wouldn't be here talking to you.
Yeah, same with me. I wouldn't be here either if my dad hadn't to come home.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I want to thank you again, and you have a great evening.
Well, thank you, Gary. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, sir. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Well, tomorrow we got a screenwriter on who actually wrote a couple of the Star Trek Next Generation a series, or was a writer on them, a couple major movies, and a whole bunch of other things for TV. He'll be on tomorrow. Then we got Dale Loynes will be on Friday, and we're going to be talking about Bigfoot. And then I forgot, on the 11th, we got Samantha Ritchie. She's going to be back on talking about Bigfoot, little people, in her area in Washington State, where she actually sees them on a regular basis. Anyway, I'm going to jump out of here. Everybody have a good night. Tell your friends about Night Dreams Talk Radio. And everybody, take care.